Hey, what's up guys? It's your girl Jade Ashley and I am back for another video. I already let y'all know that we doing videos all 2019. Now I'm not here for a video of when the beat drops. I figured that I just come to y'all and I just let y'all know my thoughts on the new Lifetime docu-series Surviving R. Kelly. That's literally everything that everyone is talking about. So instead of giving y'all my 5 hot beats of this week, I just wanted to have a video dedicated solely to this documentary. I'm sure you guys seen it. I, of course, seen it. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on Lifetime's new documentary, Surviving R. Kelly, then stay tuned for more. Okay, guys, so we're just going to dive right into this. I watched all 3 nights. It started on Thursday, continued Friday, and then it concluded last night on Thursday. I took notes all 3 nights. So I definitely have some things to say. I do want to say before I start saying my thoughts that I am not judgmental in no way whatsoever. It's just that a lot of the stuff that was in here was absolutely shocking, was just mind-boggling. And yeah, so I don't think I'm gonna say anything offensive, but it was just some things that was just like completely just outrageous whatsoever. But I'm not gonna try to hold y'all, so we just gonna get right into it. So the first things first is, like any documentary, they started off with the background, of R. Kelly, his upbringing and stuff like that, him singing, all that stuff. It kind of delved into the topic of discussion, or the topic of the documentary, when they mentioned that he was sexually abused as a kid. They played a clip from like an old interview where he basically said that he was sexually molested by a family member from the age 7 to about 13 or 14 years old, but he didn't want to mention who the family member was because he didn't want to throw any of his family members under the bus. And then it kind of went into the Lifetime team or producers interviewing his youngest brother, Kelly. And Kelly also, admitted to being molested as a child as well. He said that it happened to him when he was 6 years old, and at the time he had told R. Kelly about it, and R. Kelly kind of just brushed it off like, no, it didn't happen and stuff like that. And Carrie said that he was afraid to tell his mom, so he was like, the fact that R. Kelly said that he was molested as a kid and stuff like that, he definitely believes it because he was molested himself as a child by a family member. But the whole situation with R. Kelly and the young girls and stuff like that pretty much dates all the way back into the 90s, after high school and after he started having his musical success and stuff like that. They said that he hung out around the local high school, which was Kenwood High School in Chicago, in the 90s. They said that, he used to be outside with his Jeep and stuff like that. And, he used to be by the local McDonald's, and he was just kind of like, talk to the girls or invite them back to his studio or whatever the case may be. And the fact that he was, seeing success within music, he kind of used that as his, I guess, thing to get his girls pretty much, whether it was, using them as his background singers or, promising to help them, better their music careers. And, they work with him musically, but he also, was, according, to the people in the documentary, doing sexual things with these girls as well. And by now he's definitely outside of his teens, but these girls were, 14, 15, 16, stuff like that. So that was absolutely crazy. There was one girl who was from the high school. I can't remember her name right now, but she's all over social media because she had 2 different hairstyles in the same outfit in the documentary. She started off with braids, and then she had a ponytail, and then went back to the braids. And I absolutely noticed it myself, but there was bigger things being discussed at hand and stuff like that. But she pretty much, attested to it. That's how she got to know him, outside of the high school, because that was also a high school that he went to. But this is years later where he's still hanging around the high school and picking up girls that was like younger than him. And I remember it was one point she said that the first time she's ever seen him like do anything sexual was when she stepped in the studio. She saw him in the booth with her friend and had her friend like just bent over and had other girls just doing stuff. And it's just crazy. It's like we hear these things, and a lot of these stories are not new, but just to revisit it and make the connection between then and then now, because there's things still going on now. He's still being accused of things, is absolutely crazy. The same woman, and this is kind of when my jaw started to drop, was she was around when Aaliyah was around, and we've heard things about him and Aaliyah. Me definitely, but me being a kid then and not really paying attention to it the way I would now at the age of 24. But she's the same person who said that, he helped shape and mold Aaliyah. As we all know, because he worked with Aaliyah, very early on in her career. And she was the one that actually said that they were on a tour bus, and, the tour bus was like bumpy and stuff like that. And, the back bedroom or whatever of the tour bus, the door swung open, and he saw, R. Kelly having sex with Aaliyah. And it was just so shocking because at that time she was younger than obviously R. Kelly, but also younger than her, as well. So it was kind of like, she said she saw it. And, Aaliyah's mom, she released a statement ahead of, the documentary premiering and stuff like that. But I mean, the rumors go back. And then to me, being a fan of Aaliyah since I was a little girl, it's just like, I really didn't want her to be discussed, but it's kind of like, when you speak about what he's been known for or the rumors that's been going on for years, there's no way you can't mention the relationship with Aaliyah. And one thing that just got me so heated and so upset was his former road manager and also his former personal assistant. His name is I think Demetrius Smith, if I'm not mistaken. Demetrius Smith. So he admitted to a lot. He said that he's not proud of the things that he's done, but one of the things that he said that he did for R. Kelly was, there was a time where R. Kelly said, we got to go back to Chicago. We got Aaliyah in trouble. I think she's pregnant. So he admitted to forging paperwork to where Aaliyah and R. Kelly was able to get married. And at that time, Aaliyah was only 15 and R. Kelly was only 27, but they lied on the paperwork to say she was 18. So it's just like things like that he impregnated her, married her, and she wasn't even 18. And it's just so many people. Like, R. Kelly is obviously, according to the stories and all the accusations, he's at fault, but also the people in his team and the people he had around them were at fault as well. So it was like, if it's another grown man seeing something that's not right being done, but yet he continues to enable it and contribute to it, is just absolutely just outrageous. So Demetrius Smith, he got to be in jail because, you just as guilty, pretty much. That's how I felt about that whole situation. What else do I want to talk about? We learned that R. Kelly is not that great of a reader. His brother had mentioned it when he was younger. He had a hard time reading, and people were kind of amazed at the fact that, he couldn't read well, but he was such this great musician. And then R. Kelly's ex-wife, Andrea Kelly, she kind of reiterated, once or twice, maybe 3 times throughout the rest of the series, that he wasn't that great of a reader neither. So R. Kelly can't read, y'all. So that's one thing we learned. And it's not funny because that's real life, but R. Kelly can't read. Other than that, he had an older brother in jail. His name is Bruce. And Bruce, his screws is not tied a little bit too tight. And, Lifetime, they went to the jail, they interviewed him, and it was just some things that his brother was saying that was just triggering the older brother, Bruce. I remember one of the things he said early on was, "Oh, my brother has a preference. I don't see what's wrong with that. He likes younger women. I like older women." No. That is not right. That is not right. Your brother likes little girls, according to these accusations and stuff like that. A lot of these girls that he was messing with, they were not even 18. And even at 18, that's still a young age. That's, legal. But still, that 18 bullshit, you still a kid even at that. And it was just crazy. The brother, I hope this is not mean, but it seems like he's exactly where he belongs right now. And it's just a lot of the things that he was saying was just crazy. Other than that, there was just, so many girls that had stories, of meeting him as, teenagers. So, because he was this, big superstar, this R&B star, climbing the charts and all of this other stuff, it was just easy for him to get girls. But instead of getting, I guess, girls that were age appropriate, he had bodyguards and assistants and stuff like that were getting young girls. So there was one girl who told the story. I can't remember her name, but she was from Miami. She said she met him when, I think she said she was like 16 or 17. She met him in a mall. He basically had the bodyguard go back and, give her his number. She went over, and like I said, his thing was, let me help you with your music career. She mentioned how she was an aspiring singer. And, pretty much it became to where, he would fly her out, or she would come over pretty much for sex. And she just said she just felt like a sex slave. Like, that was it. And at this time, he's married to Andrea. I don't know if you guys ever seen the show Hollywood Exes on VH1, but Andrea was on there. So you pretty much get her background of how her and R. Kelly met. And I mean, they, reiterated that in the documentary, of course, and stuff like that. But I don't want to focus too much on him meeting and marrying Andrea, because I feel like that story's been out there. But the girl, pretty much talked about how, he flew her out, and, he would just have her in different places just for sex and stuff. So they had asked her, so, like, what was the breaking point? Like, what made you kind of finally say, like, this is enough, I'm stopping, and that's that? And she told a story of where he infected her with something. I don't know exactly, or I don't remember what it was, but the word was so big and what he affected her with, you just knew it was messed up. And she was like that she was paralyzed from the waist down. She was in ICU in a hospital, and he gave her mom like $1,000, and that was just the end of that. And she didn't hear from him since, and that was just crazy. Like I mentioned, Andrea, she kind of said how he swept her off her feet. They got married, and like every other woman that has like accused him, she said things where he, mentally and physically abused her. He, even as the wife, had her locked up in the house to where she had to ask for certain things, something as simple as her wanting to eat. She said how they never really had like a real wedding. It's like he proposed to her, she said yes, and then like the next thing she goes into a hotel room, he has like somebody to officiate it, and like it was just, he's very controlling is what I got as well. So it was just all types of crazy. There was another girl, Lisa. She said she met him when she was 17 and he was in his 30s at the time. I remember she said she went to a video shoot with her friend, whatever video he shot with Keith Murray at the time. And she said, he called her over, and she, let him know that I'm 17, and he had no issue with that. And just like every other girl, he pretty much used her for sex and would fly her out and all of this other stuff. And what's different with her is that, which is probably not different, because it was, Demetrius said he always, recorded his sexual encounters and watched them back and stuff like that. But, I remember one story she said was that he made her have a threesome with another girl, and she was crying, and he said to her, what are you crying for? Like, look at you, you're crying in this video. I can't, look back and watch that. And like, shit like that is just not cool. It's just absolutely disgusting. And she kind of, had her breaking point with him when one of the girls that he had her have a threesome with, the girl said to her, oh, when I turn 16, I'm gonna get a car. And she said, wait, you're not 16? And at that time, the girl was 15, which means at the time when they first had the threesome, she was 14, and she was just absolutely disgusted. She said that she had taken one of his tapes and stuff, and she's seen, videos with all three of them. And then there was another video where it was just him and the young girl, and he was, pissing on her, and that's the infamous sex tape that got out. She said she stole the tape, and she left it in a hotel and kind of just was like done. like just went home, and obviously someone found it, and then, you know, him trying to get those tapes back and stuff like that kind of just led to, you know, this big fire that happened with, you know, the tape getting out and being sold and, you know, everything. And Demetrius, he said that he remembers one time R. Kelly came to him and was like, oh, can, you know, we pray, you know, I can't stop, you know, making these videos and stuff like that. And it's like the fact that this Demetrius person not only knows that he's messing with, but it's like videos of him and these young girls, and it's just like, you're enabling, you're another adult. Like, when are you going to speak up and say, yo, this is not right? Instead, we're going to pray about it. Like, God ain't happy with you. He's not. No, he's not. Praying is not going to make it any better, because this is some sick stuff. Like, it was just absolutely crazy. And, you know, like I said, a lot of this stuff is not new. It's just kind of reiterated. I feel like, you know, it's more in detail, and we're hearing now from the people that was involved. So like this whole sex tape situation that happened. Now, when it happened, I was a little girl, so this was not something of my interest. This was not something that I was paying attention to like I would now had it happen today. But just to know that the little girl that was in the infamous sex tape that led to his trial and stuff like that was Sparkle's niece. And I forgot all about Sparkle, honestly. Like, and I remember that song that her and R. Kelly did, but I forgot all about her. But just to know that that little girl was her niece, and she kind of told the story about, you know, when she started working with him, and, you know, how he was her mentor and the music they was working on. And she kind of seen, you know, the things that was going on, the different women he had around. Even one time she remembers Andrea, you know, knocking and asking him, can she have something to eat? And she was like, oh, this could not be me. So she knew what was going on. And she made that introduction to him and the niece. She said the niece was a rapper, and she was hoping that he can do for the niece what he's done for her for the music career. But I just kind of feel like, sis, if you seen what was going on, you knew the things that he had going on wasn't right. I don't care who he is, he should have never been introduced to your niece. I'm sure at this time you've probably known other people in the industry, you know, besides him. I understand, you know, he helped you a lot with your music career, but that introduction should have never happened. And then she said there was times where she would pop up at the studio and the niece would be there, and she'd be like, who brought you here? Like, it was just, when the red flags started coming up, you should have just put your foot down. And it's unfortunate that, you know, her, not even just her niece had to be the girl in the video, but that the video even happened to begin with. And I remember her saying, you know, I partially feel responsible. And I'm just like, no, you're 100% responsible. I hope I'm not sounding harsh, but you are. The fact of the matter is, you knew what type of man this was. You knew the things that he was doing, and you still made this introduction. I don't care if your niece was 12, 13, whatever the fact of the matter is. If you knew this man had a reputation of doing these things, why make this introduction? So I felt like she was not partially responsible, but she was definitely fully responsible. And she admitted her wrong. She accepted the responsibility, and she even tried to make the situation right when the trial was going on, and she was admitting that this was her niece, this was R. Kelly, but, you know, pretty much her niece and the rest of her family was blind to the bullshit. They was very charged to the bullshit. They didn't want to say exactly what it was. And I understand embarrassment, but at this point, they made it to where there was no accusers. They lied and said that that wasn't the girl on the tape, and that caused the charges to be dropped, and he pretty much got away with making a sex tape with a little girl. He went on, he continues to be R. Kelly, he continues to drop these albums, drop these hits, and basically this just let us know that people's celebrity allows them to get away with anything. They could get away with anything, you know. And because, you know, basically his whole music career has been a soundtrack to the culture, you know, it made it seem okay. And it's just kind of like, now I feel like this documentary has opened a lot of people's eyes to say, look, this shit is not okay. I know that's R. Kelly, but you got to draw a line somewhere. And I see a lot of people reacting, and they're just not happy about the situation. The Chicago Times, I definitely, as someone who is a journalist, because I do got a degree in it, I think they did an awesome job as far as, you know, doing their research and finding out that, you know, he had, you know, all of these, lawsuits and stuff or whatever against him, and they were able to find out that he had these girls on, non-disclosures, and he paid them off pretty much. So they were able to see the pattern that was going on, and they were able to bring that kind of information to light. And, that kind of lit fire up under the trial when it was going on and stuff like that. So the fact that they were just kind of like digging and digging and digging, because it was not, it really was not a good thing whatsoever. Another thing that was kind of bothersome to me was that while the trial was going on, his team, R. Kelly's team, pretty much tried to pin the sex tape on his brother. They said that it wasn't him, it was his brother in the tape. The brother, was like, my kids were being bullied and stuff like this, and I just was not taking the fall. That was not me in the tape, and I wasn't going to say it. And, he was saying that they said, if you do this deposition, we'll give you $100,000 and a 1-record deal. The little brother Carrie said, no, I'm not doing it. But their older brother, Bruce, while, Lifetime was interviewing him while he's in jail, he was like, I don't understand why he just didn't take it. He could have been rich by now. And I'm just like, this brother is crazy. You mean to tell me you think your little brother should have took the fall and said it was him when it wasn't, just so he can be rich right now? And $100,000 in a 1-record contract was not going to make him rich or whatever. But it's just like, I understand everyone's different, but it's just like some of the shit was just mind-boggling, and I'm just like, what? Like, are you serious? Like, are you for real? Like, that was legit my reaction. Another thing I want to talk about, the Geronda girl, I thought it was kind of crazy, not to be judgmental towards her, but I thought it was kind of crazy. She was like, oh, I met R. Kelly when I was 14 years old. I met him at his trial. So I understand you're a big fan of this person, but it's just, like I said, a line has to be drawn, and she met him when she was 14. I guess they kind of like linked back up when she was 16 after the trial was over. She said, she lied about her age at first. And then, when it came to the part where he was coming on to her and trying to have sex with her, she said to him, I was 16. And then he said to her, well, continue to tell people you're 19 and act 21. She told him that she was a virgin, and he was like, that's perfectly fine. And he took her virginity pretty much. And I do commend her for, finally, realizing when enough is enough and able to like get out that situation, kind of say, I'm leaving. I'm done with this situation. It's unfortunate that she had to bring a friend of hers into the situation when he told her to go get other girls. She brought her friend, Dominique in. And the Dominique girl, her story was absolutely sad to know that, like, literally, she was pretty much trapped. I commend her mother. She said that when she first started seeing him, she lied about it. Then she, called up R. Kelly and told him to stay the hell away from my daughter. And then when she got of age, she went back and she started messing with him again. And then it came to a point where, Dominique's mother no longer saw her. There was a former employee that kept their, identity a secret, but kind of let, details loose to where, Dominique was kind of like a tomboy. So he made Dominique dress like a boy and cut her hair and stuff like that. And the mother didn't even see Dominique until she popped up on TMZ. She saw that she was in Beverly Hills, and literally Lifetime has on camera this mother going to Beverly Hills because they was already working on a documentary. So, and she had to come out to LA anyway for the documentary. And the fact that they were able to capture this lady rescuing her daughter, like, it was just crazy. And I was like, you mean to tell me Lifetime has this footage? So with this footage, does this mean something's going to happen to R. Kelly now or not? Like, what's up? Like, something has to give at this point. You got the Joycelyn Savage girl, like, within like the last 2 years or something like that. We've seen the TMZ, clips and stuff like that. We've seen her on social media, basically saying that she's not trapped and stuff. But obviously the family, says different, because it's like, why can't, we see you? Why can't you answer us? And it's just unfortunate that to this day, so that means he's been doing this shit my whole life. To this day, there's girls somewhere in his house. They don't have no communication with their family. They got to do things like ask when they can eat. Like, it's just like, is really, really shocking, honestly. Another story that was shocking to me was the girl Ezreal, because it's kind of like he legit swiped her right from in front of her family, like right there. The mother and the father admitted to, because he wasn't, convicted and, charges were dropped, they didn't think too much of it. So the family go to a concert, mother, father, sister, they all there. They bring her up on stage. Sorry, nope, not my child. I don't give a damn if you was found guilty or not. We know the justice system is jacked up, so I don't care. And they legit swiped her from in front. The girl Ezreal is just crazy. Like, legit, the same exact story he's been telling since the 90s. I'm gonna help you with your music career. And the family fell for it. They had a grip on it at first, where they were pretty much like, oh, the only way, you can work with her is if one of us is there and stuff like that. And it worked for a minute. They had the daughter there, but at one point in time, they just said, you know what? He said he could get somebody from the record label to sign off and be her guardian and watch her. And that's where they fucked up. And they ain't see their daughter in 3 years. They said, they ain't see her physically in person, haven't heard from her since like the day after her high school graduation. He met her when she was 17. And it's just sad. It was sad to see them in Chicago outside his studio, banging on the door, throwing stuff at the window, because they want to physically see her. They want to actually talk to her. And the fact that they couldn't do it. Cops was called. The cops is like, oh, legally we can't break down the door. It's just like sad that it's these girls that are in love or going off to pursue their musical careers, and these families, that's like freaking kidnapping. Like, I don't know, but it's just sad. It's just absolutely sad. And it was shocking. And it's just kind of like watching all 6 parts. It was kind of like every 15 to 20 minutes, it was a new girl. Such and such met R. Kelly at this age. Such and such met R. Kelly at this age. And I mean, there were a few women that he met that were of age. I mean, there was like Kitty Jones, and then there was another woman, Asante. I think that's how you say her name. Kitty Jones was 33 when she met him. Asante was 35. And, it just goes to show that, yeah, little girls is his problem. But not only that, but when he met women of age, it was still the same thing. It was still, the mental and physical abuse, and the whole, you got to live in a house with me and all of these other girls, and, you got to ask permission to do this, and you're on punishment, so you're not eating. It's just like, in what world is this okay? And the fact that the matter is that this information is out there, has been out there, and it has been going on for years. It's like, when is enough enough? Like, when is common sense going to come into play? Like, I feel like common sense is not in play. There's so many adults, I felt like, that failed these girls throughout the years. Why is it that these, some of these parents thought it was okay? In what world for your daughter to fly across the country to be with this R&B singer, and she's 16 and 17 years old? Like, I don't get it. Like, miss me with that, I'm helping you with your music career BS. Like, no. And the fact of the matter is that he's been known to do this, and he's still being able to get away with it, is absolutely crazy, is mind-boggling. It's sad. He has such like a great musical legacy, but none of that at this moment seems to matter. Or now it seems like people are starting to realize that doesn't matter because of this. Like, everyone has been turning a blind eye all of these years. And I'm assuming, and what it's looking like at this moment in time, this documentary from, Lifetime is the breaking point. Like, people are finally starting to open their eyes and realize and see and stuff like that. And it was just such a sad situation to watch this, like, night after night. And it's just like, you got to a point where you was just like, okay, I want it to stop. And I don't know what this means. Shit, I would think, after last night, the police would have go looking for R. Kelly, but I don't know. I don't know what this means. Hopefully these families get justice and they're able to get their daughters back. And, it's hopefully he deals with the repercussions of, the things he's been accused of, because it's like, if it's multiple women saying the same thing, It might not be, he said it was lies and they just trying to look for fame, but it don't seem like that from mine. I'm just saying, you know, like I said, I don't want to be judgmental, but I'm not trying to play stupid neither. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, y'all. It's crazy. But definitely comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you checked out Surviving R. Kelly, your thoughts on the whole situation, everything that happened. I'll definitely get back to y'all without a doubt. If you're not subscribed, definitely be sure to subscribe. Stay tuned for some new videos. Once again, I thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time. So, bye. Hey guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to share and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.